Hi everyone, Bronwyn here, and I have your yoga pose of the week. I'm going to take you into high lunge. It's a nice strengthening posture into the quadriceps, helps open up the hip flexors and the psoas, and it really is a link between postures. So it's not something that you would typically go right into. It's really a linking of, especially when you are going through your vinyasas. But for this sake, we'll go ahead and stand in Tadasana. I'll have you gently fold forward. And then I'm going to have you take your right leg back. And we're going to inch it back, and you're going to stay planted into the four corners of the front foot, and you are on to your back toes. We want to make sure that we don't do this, okay? This is a big no-no. We do not want the knee going over the ankle because it's bad for our ankle and bad for our knee. And ideally, you want to line up your knee cap with your second toe. So make sure the foot isn't turning out and it's not turning in. Toes are pointing up towards the top of your mat. Your fingertips, I like to bring my fingertips by my heel because it helps me to avoid bringing the knee over the ankle. So if I inch them back, if my fingertips are up here, I may have a tendency to do this. But if my fingertips are back by my heel, I'm not going to have as much of a tendency to hyperextend that knee over the ankle. As you're lunging here, you want to make sure that you're lifting your chest up off the top of your thigh. So we don't want to be leaning into the leg. And you want to inch this hip back so you can draw the outside of the knee all the way down to the back of the hip here. Easing into it, and again, you're high onto the back toes. So I like to kind of squeeze my inner thighs together, even though they are apart, because it encourages greater strength, and I'm working my inner thighs. And then you just breathe. So the head doesn't drop. You pick the head up, and your chin is parallel. For those of you who may need to modify, perfectly fine. Drop the back knee down and just ease into the pose. And if you need a blanket underneath the knee, you can slide the blanket underneath the knee. And then you just breathe. Now, if you'd like to switch on over to the other side, I have something kind of fun for you to do. You can jump switch, or you can just come back to Tadasana and come from there. So again, I'm tracking my knee right over my ankle. I'm not putting a lot of pressure into my fingertips, and then I ease into it. And then you just stay here for a few breaths. Again, you can drop the back knee. And the other way that you could come out of it, go ahead and meet your feet forward, and then slowly roll yourself all the way to standing. So again, that isn't something, a pose that you would typically take just right off the bat, but really it's more of a transitional posture. However, if you were looking to have a nice stretch into the hip flexors, through the quadriceps, and even strengthening the lower body, then you could definitely take that pose without being in a vinyasa. Thanks so much for joining me, and I look forward to seeing you on the mat.